The Great Smoky Mountains are famous for their stunning, ethereal beauty, but they hold a dark and unsettling record. They are a hotspot for some of the most baffling and disturbing disappearances in American history. In June of 1969, a bright, energetic 6-year-old boy named Dennis Martin vanished here in the blink of an eye. His case has haunted investigators and armchair detectives for over 50 years. But what makes this case truly different, what sets it apart from other tragic disappearances, isn't just how he disappeared, it's who showed up to look for him. Why did the U.S. Army Green Berets, a unit of elite Special Forces soldiers, heavily armed, suddenly take over a search for a lost child? And more chillingly, why were they reportedly ordered to ignore the most terrifying lead of all? Today, we are opening the files that the National Park Service would rather you not read and diving deep into the mystery of what really happened to Dennis Martin. It was June 14th, 1969, the Saturday of Father's Day weekend. The Martin family, William, Dennis's father, his older brother Douglas, and their grandfather were hiking in the lush, green expanse of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. They had set up camp in a popular area known as Spencefield, a beautiful grassy bowl with panoramic views. The afternoon was filled with the sounds of a happy family enjoying nature. The two young boys, Dennis and Douglas, decided to play a classic childhood game, sneaking up on the adults to give them a friendly scare. They planned a pincer movement. Douglas would circle around one way, and Dennis would go the other. Dennis, wearing a bright red t-shirt, ducked behind a large rhododendron bush just a few yards from his father. Douglas popped out and yelled, "Boo!" The family laughed, and then they all turned, waiting for Dennis to do the same. But he never did. The woods fell silent. Dennis was gone. His father, William, later recounted that the boy was out of his sight for maybe a minute, perhaps 2 at the most. He was so close that William could have heard a twig snap under his feet. Yet, there was no scream, no sound of a struggle, no cry for help. Just an unnerving, complete silence. Panic set in immediately. The family began shouting his name, their calls echoing through the dense trees. They frantically searched the area around the bush where Dennis was last seen, but there was no sign of him. It was as if he had simply been erased from the landscape. The park rangers were alerted quickly, and a small, localized search began, headed by Ranger Dwight McCarter, an experienced tracker. They expected to find a lost little boy, perhaps hiding or having fallen and injured himself. But as the hours turned into a day, and then 2, the initial optimism faded, replaced by a growing dread. The scale of the search was about to explode into something unprecedented and far more sinister. Within days, the effort to find Dennis Martin became the largest search and rescue operation in the history of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Over 1,400 people, a mix of park rangers, FBI agents, and hundreds of civilian volunteers, scoured the rugged terrain. The public response was enormous. People from all over Tennessee and North Carolina came to help, but then something strange happened. The Green Berets arrived. An entire company of elite Special Forces soldiers from Fort Bragg was deployed to Spencefield. They set up their own command posts, operated on their own secure radio frequency, and used their own maps. They didn't coordinate with these civilian volunteers or even the local law enforcement. They were heavily armed, carrying standard-issue M16 rifles. This wasn't a typical search and rescue team. This looked like a military operation. If this was just about finding a lost child, why did they look like they were preparing for a war? Even more bizarrely, specific areas of the park were cordoned off, not just to the public, but to the FBI agents assisting in the search. The military had taken control, and they were looking for something with an intensity that went far beyond a missing person case. The official explanation was that their training in rough terrain would be an asset, but too many on the ground. That explanation felt thin, a color for a much deeper, hidden objective. while the military conducted its secretive operation. A crucial piece of testimony emerged from a civilian, a man whose story would be systematically ignored and dismissed by the authorities. His name was Harold Key. On the afternoon, Dennis disappeared. Key and his family were hiking several miles away, near a landmark called Rowan's Creek. Suddenly, the peaceful afternoon was shattered by what Key described as a sickening, blood-curdling scream. It was a sound of pure terror that made the hair on his arms stand up. A few minutes later, Key saw something that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He saw a large, rough-looking man, possibly hiding in the dense foliage, moving quickly up the mountainside. Chillingly, Key was certain the man was carrying something on his shoulder, something the size of a small child. He rushed to report what he saw to the park rangers at the search headquarters. He expected them to immediately dispatch a team to the area he indicated. Instead, he was met with strange resistance. An FBI agent overheard his story and told him to keep quiet about it. He was effectively Why would law enforcement dismiss such a credible and urgent lead? The sighting was logged, but never seriously pursued. This is where the story takes an even darker turn, connecting to local folklore that has become a viral sensation online. The legends of feral people. These are stories of wild, uncontacted clans, living deep within the park's most inaccessible zones, fiercely territorial and hostile to outsiders. Was the rough-looking man simply a kidnapper, or was he something else entirely? Something that the Green Berets were actually there to hunt. As quickly and mysteriously as they arrived, the Green Berets left. Their mission, whatever it truly was over, and despite the massive search, not a single trace of Dennis Martina was ever found. No bright red t-shirt, no shoes, no bones, nothing. It is statistically unheard of for a search of this magnitude to yield absolutely zero physical evidence. It's as if the mountain itself, or something within it, had swallowed him whole. This complete lack of evidence has fueled numerous theories over the decades. The first, and perhaps most terrifying, is the feral people theory. The idea is that Dennis was accidentally taken by a member of an isolated clan living deep in the park, a group the government knows about and quietly contains. In this scenario, the Green Berets weren't there to rescue Dennis, but to manage the situation and ensure the clan's existence remained a secret. Another prominent theory is that the military was conducting a covert operation in the park, and Dennis stumbled upon it. Perhaps they were tracking a foreign agent, a downed experimental aircraft, or something even stranger. In this version of events, the search for Dennis was a convenient cover story for their real mission. The truth became a matter of national security, and a 6-year-old boy was considered acceptable collateral damage. The official conclusion remains that Dennis simply wandered off, got lost, and succumbed to the elements. But for those who know the details, the silenced witness, the armed soldiers, the complete lack of evidence, that story just doesn't add up. The file on Dennis Martin officially remains open. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is a place of incredible beauty, but it keeps its secrets well. The disappearance of Dennis Martin is one of its darkest. What do you think really happened that day? Was it a tragic accident covered up by a bizarre series of coincidences? Or was Dennis the victim of something far more sinister? A hidden clan of feral people? A secret military operation? Or something else entirely?